format only, and we look at Ho'oponopono, and Robin would be a great person to talk to about that, because that's actually one of the programs that she leads. So I'd like to just take a few minutes if you have any questions. If you're sitting there thinking, gosh, this is something I might like to do, but I'm not sure if it's appropriate for me, I'd be glad to answer any questions that you have.
You know, before we do that,
Yeah.
great to hear. We have a couple clients in the room. They'd be willing to speak about their experience. That would be great.
Absolutely. Steve, you interested? This is Steve Little. He's been a client of ours for quite some time, a year. He's my personal client. And it's just been a joy to work with him. And I'd like for him to tell you a little bit about what he's gotten out of the program.
I got to talk about what I got out of it. No, well, let me just say that it's an extraordinary program and they're extraordinary people. And you will get extraordinary results. That's really all I can say. I think Lee's analogy is a great one. If you think about athletes, you know, every athlete can work out, but to be a champion athlete, you need a coach. So to be a champion in your life, you need a coach. And the things that this group has done with me and for me, I might say, are pretty extraordinary. You didn't know me a year ago, so you don't have any idea who I was. But I wasn't who I am. Okay. And it's just a fabulous experience, and I'd recommend everybody just do it. Don't ask yourself, just do it. We're now beyond the end of the program. I was telling Joe this morning, and I'm not stopping, so we're carving new territory together, but I'm not going to stop, so you should start.
Thanks a lot. Yes. Do you have a question?
Yep.
Okay.
You're talking life coach, right?
Beg your pardon?
You just talking life coach, so I don't need it. I don't need it. You're talking life coach. You know, we've been told, get back to ourselves, get into ourselves,
Yes.
start from there. If I come to you for coaching, or even if anyone else comes to you for coaching from this group,
Yes.
they're still stuck. What I'm asking you is if they're still stuck, then am I still stuck? And are you still stuck?
It's a great question. That's a great question.
And I feel in myself, I don't want to come to you. I'm not stuck. However, if someone else comes to you and they're stuck, then are you stuck? And I'm stuck.
Right. I got it. No, that is a great point. I can tell you that when I'm in a conversation with somebody and I'm coaching somebody, I'm cleaning on myself. I'm very clear that that's the source, right? So before we get on any calls with anybody, we spend 10 minutes cleaning ourselves. And in the conversations that we have with people, I think it's really important that we don't give advice and we don't tell anybody how to fix themselves. Really what we do is we are a sounding board. We can hear what they're saying. We can continue to clean on ourselves as they're saying whatever they're saying.
That's good. So that's between you and them. That will have absolutely nothing to do with me.
Well, not according to Dr. Holen.
or not according to me. What I just said a little bit ago is that it's everything is in you. So whatever you're picking up right now that's in everybody else, it's actually in you. And 100% responsibility means sit there and do the cleaning. So, but you raised the question, I understand, on a conscious level, so let me ask you something. I'm going to ask the whole group. If we do another Zero Limits event, how many of you would come to it? Yeah. Why? Why? Because didn't you already get what the message was? If there's a verbal message, if there's one I could write down on the board, one I already put into a book, why would you come again? Yeah, there's a lot of, you're going to come up with all kind of reasons. It's the same reason you would want to coach. The same reason. I use coaches. I have a half a dozen different people that I will call on. I know that if there's any moment, and I do my best, I keep cleaning, I've told you how I'm doing it as much as I can, 24 hours a day. I keep taking action, I keep following my inspiration, but I have bumps in the road. And whenever I hit a bump and I don't know how to get over that bump with my own bag of tricks, I call a coach. I have found them to be incredibly valuable. And in fact, I created the Miracles coaching team in particular because of zero limits and people's questions like this. That they have questions about how do I apply this into my life, or they just want somebody who is rooting them on. If you saw my blog post just from a few days ago, I put a picture of my rear because I've gone 15 feet up a rope, and my trainer was at the bottom shooting the picture of me going up. Now, as an overweight kid growing up, I was never able to go up the rope, and my drill instructor, gym teacher, would make fun of me and everybody else, so there was humiliation there. I had a whole lot of cleaning. There was a deep wound. And when I did start getting fit and I did build my own gym, I also put in a 15-foot tower with a long rope. And I've been trying to go up that rope for the longest time. One of the reasons I finally went up that rope, and I can go up it repeatedly now, is that I had a coach who believed I can do it more than I could believe I can do it. That's what kept me going. And in fact, in that case, occasionally he'd come over and he would go up the rope, which would give me a model of possibility. So there's all kind of reasons, but I think the most relevant thing is all of you are really in a wonderful place. You are really in a wonderful place right now, but when I asked you, would you attend another Zero Limits workshop, you don't really need to. Almost everybody said yes. That's why you would want a coach.
And I think what Joe said about not needing it is absolutely, one of the strongest things I would say is that nobody needs it. There isn't a person in the room that needs it. I just know the difference that it's made for me in my life and the difference that it's made for my clients. I can give you a couple examples if that's helpful. I have one client that came to the program because he was very fearful all the time. He lived in India. He lives in India. And he was making a very good living on the internet, more than most people in his community. I think he was making $3,000 or $4,000 a month, which is a good living in India. But he was afraid to tell anybody that he was doing well because he was afraid they would curse him. Because he'd heard that, as a matter of fact, in his past, somebody had told somebody and they put a curse on him, and then his business started going downhill. So we worked on it for a while, and then he said, well, the other thing is that I'm working 15 to 20 hours a day to maintain my business. And after about 2 or 3 sessions with me, he came to the call, and I said, now, how is it going? How are you? How is your fear level? And he said, it's down to 5%. He said, I'm not afraid. I said, well, are you sharing this with your family? He said, no. As a matter of fact, he had bought a car and told his parents that someone gave it to him because he was afraid if he told them that he bought it, they would, curse him. So I said, so his instructions were, his assignment was to go tell his family about his business and how well he was doing. And he did. And he said it was just amazing how supportive everybody was. So over time, I worked with him for 6 months. He developed a revenue of $15,000 a month. He cut back his hours to 5 hours a day, 4 days a week. And he said that his fear level was completely gone. So is it something I did? No, it's something he did. It's something that he could then begin to free up in his own life. And it just made a huge difference for him. But I was a stand for him. That's my job as a coach. It's very much what Joe says. It's like when you can't believe in yourself, your coach believes in you. And your coach is a stand for you getting what you want in your life. So that's the one thing I would recommend that you look at. Is there something that you want to create in your life? Something that maybe you've been stopped in? Something that past conversations have been stuck and that you're using your clearing techniques that you're getting here to get rid of them. But they do come back from time to time. Those fears, those memories, those things that keep us stuck. And one of the things we do is we use clearing techniques like Ho'oponopono and other techniques that help us be present. And once you're present, then you can be open and receive inspiration. But when you're stuck in the past and worrying about, well, this didn't work last time, how is it going to work this time? It's very difficult to create the future. So other than that, that's really all I can tell you. I love my job. It's a real opportunity to be with everybody and to support them in the dreams that they have. And if you guys have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. Anything? Anya, anything you want to say? Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
What kind of questions do you have? About anything that's going on so far. She's right here.
So I know it's our responsibility to clean on ourselves. And since we've come into your world and Dr. Holen's world, my question is, how do you know, after you leave here, how long you need to clean on the issues that we've brought up into your life? And I'm asking, how long will you clean for me and all my junk?
Did you raise your hand because you second the motion, or you want to answer it?
Answer.
Go for it.
You don't clean on the issues. When something comes up, it's only in you. You just clean on yourself. And so you just clean as long as you can stand it.
And I will extend that, meaning that if you brought up an issue with me in the stairway at some point, and I start cleaning on it and so forth, I have no idea if it's actually removed. I don't know if that data is gone. But one way that I do know that it may not surface again is if I go on with my life and nobody ever brings it up again. If I go to the next stairwell and Anya brings it up to me, oh, that wasn't gone when I was cleaning it, I got to keep cleaning.